Notice of this meeting stating the date, place, and time has been disseminated as required under the Open Public Meeting Act, Chapter 231, Public Law, 1975. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll. The meeting is called to order. Please stand for the Korean flag salute.
God of the universe, look thou with favor upon these here assembled, and bestow thy guidance upon the members of the governing body in their deliberations. This we ask in thy name. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
In the event of emergency, the proper method of exiting the council chambers is through the 3 doors in the rear of the room. Occupants should proceed down the staircase and out the front door and move away from the area of the front steps. Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. Purcell. Here. Frazier.
Here.
Yemakaitis.
Here.
Sheehy.
Here.
Sadowski.
Here.
Crosby Hurling.
Here.
Armstead.
Here.
Brown.
Here.
Koziel.
Here.
Colibus.
Here.
Mr. Moore.
Here. There's a new procedure I'm putting in place this evening. It's a sign-in sheet, and it makes it easier for myself and the clerk to get the people's names correctly in the addresses. So if anybody would like to speak during the public portion, please sign the sign-in sheet. Please print and make it legible. Thank you. There's no ordinances on hearing tonight, so we're going to go into the consent agenda. All items listed with an asterisk are considered to be routine by the City Council and be acted upon with one motion. There will be no separate discussion on these items unless a council member or a citizen so requests. In the event, the item will be removed from the general order of business and considered in its normal sequence on the agenda. Does anyone in the audience wish to remove an item? It's just the consent agenda. Okay, no, sorry. Ms. Hero? Anyone else? Anyone else would like to remove anything from the consent agenda? Council people? All right, so I ask for a motion.
All right, Council President, that was number 4, I heard it was?
Yes.
All right, I make a motion to move consent agenda items number 1 through 3 and number 5 and ask for a second.
Second?
Second.
Thank you.
Mr. Purcell.
Yes.
Frazier.
Yes.
Yemakaitis.
Yes.
Sheehy.
Yes.
Sadowski.
Yes.
Crosby Hurling.
Yes.
Armstead.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Koziel.
Yes.
Colibus.
Yes.
Mr. Moore.
Yes. Ms. Hero?
Pat Hero, Wheat Chief Road. I want to say that I remember when Chief Boyle was appointed the police chief, and I was very, very happy about that. And to find out that he's filing for retirement, well, that just makes me very sad. So if he'd like to reconsider and continue as our police chief, that would make me very glad indeed. So please consider that, Chief Boyle. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hero. Number 10, committee reports.
Council President?
I need a motion, please.
Thank you, Council President. I move consent agenda item number 4 and ask for a second.
Second.
Mr. Purcell.
Yes.
Frazier.
Yes.
Yemakaitis.
Yes.
Sheehy.
Yes.
Sadowski.
Yes.
Crosby Hurling.
Yes.
Armstead.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Koziel.
Yes.
Colibus.
Yes.
Mr. Moore.
Yes. Committee reports from the council. Mr. Michelle?
I'll be quick, Council President. Just from Riverside Auto, a check for $787.50. And everybody knows winter is here. We've been shoveling many inches of global warming out of our driveway. So just please, next storm, if you know it's going to be bad, put your cars in the driveway, try to get them off the street so the DPW has make it easy for DPW to plow the streets. And congratulations to Chief Boyle on his retirement. Happy and healthy one, and I'll probably be seeing him around the county. End of report.
Thank you. Mr. Frazier?
Thank you, Mr. President. Quite frankly, the only items I want to bring up on the resolutions, there are two particular resolutions, and the reason I want to bring these up because the last time I spoke with regards to the landfill, I think certain people didn't understand exactly the particular item that we were discussing. The item that we had discussed, and this goes back to the December 21st meeting, we approved the walkway for the landfill and for Hawk Rise, which came to approximately $1,138,000. I received a couple emails and questions from people, why did the city pay that much money? Well, first of all, I want to clarify this. The city did not pay that money. That did not come out of the city budget. The majority of that money, almost $1.2 million, came from grants from the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection. Particularly, one was a Green Acres grant, which was well over $460,000, and the remainder of 600 and some odd thousand came from the Natural Resource Grant from, again, the state of New Jersey. It did not cost the city all but $49,000 for bonding charges. All right, so for some odd reason, certain people thought that this was coming out of the city budget. This is not the case. And the reason we had to do this, quite frankly, is because we are operating under an ACO, which is an agreement and consent order with the New Jersey DEP. An ACO, quite frankly, is a legal agreement. It's when there is a dispute between parties and a legal agreement is entered into. And this agreement specifies exactly what either party will do. And when we entered into this agreement back in 2007, we were compelled to do certain things. One of them, installing a walkway, and the other items are contributed to the landfill, such as doing sampling of the piezometers, sampling of the wells, sampling of the leachate. And this evening, there will be two resolutions that are coming up, 2011-52 and 2011-51. Again, these two resolutions are part of the ACO. We must do this. Failure for us not to do this compels us to a violation, and the violation in many, many cases has a tremendous fine to it. So since we're compelled under this authority, I should say the ACO compliance, we must go along with that, all right? And I just wanted to, again, clarify that. That's why we are doing this. That pretty much covers my report, with the exception that I, too, would want to compliment and congratulate Chief Boyle on the fact that he's retiring, and I could say hope he has a great retirement, but I'm sure he has something else in line, but he served us well, and I think that we owe him a debt of gratitude. Thank you very much. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Frazier. It was a very good clarification on that. Mrs. Yamakaitis?
Thank you, Mr. President. I have some year-end reports from the city clerk's office during the month of October 2010 for birth, marriage, domestic partner, certificates, bingo raffle license. The grand total was $5,865.89. For the month of November 2010, the grand total was $4,558.93. And for the month of December 2010, the grand total was $6,738.58. And the total fees collected for 2010 city revenue was $56,963.18, and the state revenue was $7,270. From the Fire Prevention Bureau collected a total of $2,920.80 during the month of December 2010. And I just wanted to make mention, the Elizabethtown Gas Company will be replacing 50 bare steel gas hose services throughout the city. In the 8th Ward, 3 will be replaced on East Henry Street, 1 on McGilvery Place, 1 on Cranford Avenue, and 1 on Dennis Place. The work started last week, so please be aware and look for postings where digging will occur. This is scheduled to conclude at March 31st, so it should be starting soon. That concludes my report, Mr. President.
Thank you. Mr. Sheehy?
Thank you, Council President. I'd like to thank the Council President for putting me on committees where I can help and benefit this city. I am now, January 1st, on the Department of Public Works. If anybody has any ideas or we can improve or any suggestions, please call me, 862-2983. We just had a blizzard, and we received a lot of complaints. I had over 50 phone calls on my phone. Please understand that it was the first snowstorm of the year. It was a 3-foot blizzard. It was very difficult to keep up with. Like I said, we had a lot of complaints, but everybody had the same problem, from Atlantic City to New York City. I traveled through the county. Their roads, I feel, were in worse shape than our roads. But we did receive a lot of complaints. Myself, I couldn't even return all the phone calls that I had because a lot of them were duplicates on the same streets. But it was a it was a blizzard. It wasn't a snowstorm, it was a blizzard. The guys plowed. 5-10 minutes later, the wind just blew it right back into the street. And I think everybody up here received a lot of phone calls. I know the mayor's office received hundreds of phone calls, but we dealt with it. It wasn't just our problem, it was everybody on the East Coast problem, and I think the fellas did the best they could, and I feel they did a good job. It was just that it was a 3-foot blizzard. And in Public Works, we're now looking into buying the one-arm garbage trucks. It's going to save the city a lot of money because there's only going to be one man on the truck. It's going to be an experiment. We're going to experiment in the 9th and 10th Ward first because they're basically single-family homes in those 2 wards. And the savings isn't going to be right off, but in the future, it's going to save us a lot of money.
Mr. Sheehy, would that be for sanitation or recycling?
It's going to start, we started discussing with sanitation, but we now know there's a grant available for recycling, so we're going to look into that. There's a few grants available that we're looking into. I'd like to thank the council president for starting a budget committee. The budget committee is ready to go to work. They're working already, not ready, they are working already. And I think things have changed up here. The attitude is different, and I could foresee us trying as hard as we possibly can to get a 0 tax increase. Is it possible? I don't know if it's possible, but I can guarantee you this, that everybody up here is going to try. That's what we're gunning for. a zero tax increase. It's going to be hard. It's doubtful, but I can tell you this, we're going to try. And I would like to thank Chief Boyle for his service. I watched the guy grow come up through the ranks, and he's the type of chief that we need and that we had. The men respected him, the council respected him, and he did an excellent job. I honestly hate to see the man go, but thank you, Chief Boyle. Council President, end of my report.
Thank you, Mr. Sheehy. Mrs. Sadowski?
Thank you, Council President. Just a few remarks. Since I've been dealing with the senior citizens and this big snowstorm, they had some questions, so I just want to let me answer them. The seniors want to know about the snowfall removal from the homes. By that I mean, must they remove the snow? Must their neighbors remove the snow? I checked on the ordinance, and the ordinance states, it's ordinance 3-31, removal of snow and ice. And this is exactly what it reads. The owner, occupant, or tenant of premises abutting or bordering upon any street in the city shall remove all snow and ice from the abutting sidewalks of such streets, or in the case of ice, which may be so frozen as to make removable impractical. Shall cause the same to be thoroughly covered with sand or ashes within 12 daylight hours after the same falls or is informed thereon. Similarly, the owner, occupant, or tenant of any premises shall not cover any fire hydrants and snow on. All it's saying is, if you live there, you're supposed to shovel, even if you do not own the property. If you have a problem, you will call the police then in turn will go down and, check on it. But there are fines for it and so on, but I doubt very much if they would be handing it out. But if you have someone who's creating problems, you'd have to call the police on them. But that was 3-31, removal of snow and ice. Also, I've been getting calls for snow shovelers. Last year, I had a couple. They went to college. Last year, I did a couple of houses myself. I cannot do it this year. We are trying to get a list from the Board of Ed, and we are working on that. So I think possibly by the next time you get the snow, if you want to give me a call, I'm sure I'll have some names to do it. The other thing that was coming up is the handicap parking in the city. If you need a handicap spot, a new one, you'd have to call up your council person. They, in turn, will send you this form. It's about 5 sheets. You get the form filled out, send it back to traffic. They, in turn, will take care of it. Your council person, the only thing they have to do with it is get the sheet to you. That's it. They do not make any kind of decisions. The other thing is, the other question that came up was, if someone passes away and has one, what happens to that sign? I talked to Sergeant Babulski just the other day, and he stated when someone passes away in Linden, the city office is notified that they have passed away. They, in turn, send it to traffic where they check it out, and the handicap spot or sign is taken back. But that is work with the police department. The police will take it down. And lastly, Mr. Sheehy and myself are on the committee of the World Trade Center Steel Beam Committee. Basically, all it is where we were donated the steel beam, where we will put it in the city. We have a few places, library in front of the city hall here, across the street, and so on. But we would like to get the people's input into it. If you have any thoughts about this, please give me a call. My phone number is 862-0749. If not, call up the city clerk's office. They, in turn, will give you my number or take down your count. But we have a long time to do this, but we want to get ahead of it. Or you can give Mr. Sheehy a call. He's always available. So between us, we'll take it. Finally, I'd like to give thanks to Chief Boyle on his retirement. And please, with the ice out there, please be careful. That ends my report.
Thank you, Councilman. I'd like to take a moment here to piggyback on something Mr. Sheehy said. I've implemented a new policy where problems go to the committee chairman to work on, and I think that's a more workable process than bringing it to the entire committee, and then the chairman brings it to the committee for total review by the committee. So I'm trying to implement some new ideas to get the government moving here a little faster. So as you see the sign-in sheet, that's a little different. So you'll be noticing small changes. Councilwoman Crosby Hurley, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. I don't sit on any committees as a chairperson. However, I was given permission by our chairman of Construction, Code, and Lighting to request a light be installed on pole 63877. The light was removed when the new pole was placed there, and there's a need for a light because it's a dead-end street and there are vacant properties there. Some of you all know, and those of you, oh, okay, I'm sorry. I'd like to make a motion to have that light installed, and I need a second, please.
Second.
Second.
Mr. Purcell.
Yes?
Frazier.
Yes?
Yabakaitis.
Yes.
Sheehy.
Yes.
Sadowski.
Yes.
Crosby Hurling.
Yes.
Armstead.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Koziel.
Yes.
Colbus.
yes,
Mr. Moore.
Yes.
Thank you. Some of you know that I started public office hours, and I'm going to hold the public office hours twice a month for February. It's going to be February the 4th and the 25th. These are Friday afternoons from 3:30 to 5:30 at the Linden Multipurpose Center, and that's at 1025 John Street, and there's a conference room there. So I'm available to the public if you want to see me on those days. In our ward, we have the Mongrel Corporation, the Linden Housing Authority, and they're holding a casino night February the 19th. And if you wanted to buy tickets, you can call 908-298-3820. We're going to ask for your patience with the melting of the snow and the puddles at the intersections. I know that the DPW is working to clear them out so the puddles don't get really, really big and, cause a problem for the residents. Specifically in our area, there is a dip at the corner of Chandler Avenue, the 900 block, and the 1100 block of Middlesex Street. That makes this puddle deeper, so please be very cautious in that area. Also, for recreation, you can start signing your children up now for the summer day camps. The fee is $350 per child, and the children are from kindergarten until 4th grade. Payment plans are available. You can contact the Recreation Department at 908-474-8600. Also, I wanted to announce that the Linden Roselle chapter of the NAACP is having a Dr. Martin Luther King ceremony this Thursday at 7 p.m. at the Bethlehem Church on Rivington Street in Roselle, if anyone's available. Thank you, Chief Boyle. He's not in the room, but he's appreciated for his 33 years of service. I want to thank him personally and wish him well in his future endeavors. Also, for any resident who wants to volunteer on a commission or board, on the city's website, linden-nj.org, there under the clerk tab, you can find citizen services. All of the boards, the people who are appointed, and their terms are there. If you're interested, contact us and let us know through the clerk's office, or you can contact the council persons directly and just, give your interest for whatever committee or board you're interested in. Our hope is that we can get more people involved in this city so that if you have qualifications and you're interested in volunteering, that you can do that. And the council has appointments, the mayor also has specific appointments, and all that is listed for you at the website. Please continue to contact me via email. It's rcosbyhurling@linden-nj.org, and you can call me on the telephone at 908-474-4120. That concludes my report.
Thank you. In conjunction with the Councilwoman's announcement about the positions available, one of campaign promises I made was that we would put any jobs available on Cable 36, and that will be instituted pretty soon. And right at this moment, we have public works out cleaning the catch basins because we're concerned with flooding and then turning into ice. So we hope that there's no ice accidents out there. And if you have an opportunity, possibly help out the city to clean your own catch basin, which I do, we'd appreciate that. Mr. Armstead.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I have the following reports. I have a correspondence from Stacy L. Caron, the tax collector. She's asked me to advise all taxpayers that the 2011 first quarter taxes are due February 1st, 2001, with a 10-day grace period. The office hours are 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. daily. She's asked that you please include your payment stub with your check when mailing a tax payment. This will continue to ensure that the payments will be applied to the correct property. Under Personnel and Finance, we have the following items that are requested for approval. In the Department of Public Works, the reappointment of Damian Johnson as a laborer Tier 2, pursuant to the order of the Civil Service Commission at a salary of $30,430 and applicable seniority as ordered by the Commission. Second, in the Department of Police, the hiring of 3 police officers effective February 14, 2011, pending successful completion of all applicable examinations per PBA contract. They are as follows. Number 1, Kenneth Lewis Pogge at $46,491. The second officer would be Ricardo Jose Oliveria at $46,491. The third officer will be Timothy Francis Hubert at $54,239. Number 3, in the Department of Finance, accepting the letter of resignation from Larry Caroselli, part-time assistant fiscal officer, effective January 1st, 2011. The fourth item will be the payment of bills totaling $1,481,188.35. The bills have been signed by the mayor, council president, and finance chairman, and a detailed check register and vouchers are on file in the city clerk's office. We are in receipt of the investments made by the city treasurer for the month of December at a rate of 0.75%. I move for approval and ask for a second.
Second.
Mr. Purcell.
Yes.
Frazier.
Yes.
Yemakaitis.
Yes.
Sheehy.
No on number 1 and yes on the rest.
Sadowski.
Yes.
Crosby Hurling.
Yes.
Armstead.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Koziel.
Yes.
Golubus.
yes,
Mr. Moore.
Yes, all except for number 5, I abstain. Councilperson Brown, please.
No, I'm not finished, Mr. President. Okay. I just wanted to add a little commentary on tonight's personal and finance report. You may have noticed, well, we hired 3 new police officers. These police officers were laid off in Newark. Civil Service has allowed us to hire police and firemen who have been laid off in other municipalities. And in this particular case, it gives the city an opportunity to put these guys to work right away, and that they don't have to go to the academy as they've already been there. Another sidebar that I think everybody should be aware of, is that these gentlemen, as recent as today, this was not carved in stone. We sat down, we had a conference call, we talked to these gentlemen, and they have all agreed to do what is ever humanly possible to come live in the city of Linden. Now, I think that's a plus, and I think that's the direction that we should be moving into. I just recall when I was a kid, and some of you guys are out there who were kids with me, like Mr. Goebel over there, we knew every cop in town, well, every police officer in town. And I think that is just consistent with having a good town, having your police, your fire personnel, your teachers, people who just serve in this town in any municipal capacity. If they live here, they become a part of this community, and that just makes for a better Linden. And I think we should all be moving and striving to have a better Linden, and that is the goal of this governing body, to make Linden a better and safer place, and we're going to do whatever is possible to make that happen. Last but not least, I I would like to congratulate Chief Boyle on his retirement and wish him well in his endeavors. I know he may not be here. Chief Boyle is a very good chief. His management style, he's tough, and he commands the respect of all his police officers, and he'll be missed. But I'm sure that the new acting chief, Schulhafer, will do a fine job. And that concludes my report, Mr. President.
Thank you. Mr. Brown?
Thank you, Council
Councilman
President.
Brown?
Thank you, Council President. I'm keeping my report short. As Councilman Sheehy mentioned that Council President here formed a budget committee. I'm actually on that budget committee as well as Councilman Fischel and Councilman Koziel. I would like the residents to know that we are working on that. That is my focus. I understand taxes is an issue, and we're serious about doing something about it this year. Last year, I know that the budget was presented late. Taxes increased double digits. This year, I feel that the council is very serious in doing what is necessary to stabilize taxes here in Linden. What I ask is if residents have any suggestions, comments, criticism, feel free to reach out to me, reach out to, I know the other two councilmen here. We want to hear from you. We want to hear your ideas. We want to hear what your concerns are. We want to hear your suggestions. My phone number you can get from the clerk's office. That's my cell phone, and if anybody has a pen and paper, they can take it now. My phone number is 908-587-6003. If I don't get back to you right away, I'll try very hard the next day. That's my report.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Koziel?
Thank you, Mr. President. Just to reiterate a few things that Councilman Brown mentioned. I am a member of that committee. We're going to take this very seriously. A lot of council people over the past year have been very involved in the budget building process and trying to trim the budget and trim taxes, even though they were outside of the Personal and Finance Committee. We took it as initiatives to see things and do things that we thought were helpful, to advise the committee. As you know, the committee was doing their work. We saw things from the outside and brought it to the committee, and I think it was very helpful. And I think it helped move things along within the committee in the budget building process and also with the consolidation and restructuring. To touch on that, the council president saw fit to appoint me as chairman of that committee. I served on that committee before, and I'm going to take it very seriously again. We're going to meet next week. I'm going to check with people's schedules, but we will dive into that for future cost savings measures and reestablish tables of organization, smaller, leaner government. Public Works, everybody talked about snow. You know, this is payback. I'm always the second to speak. So I can get to speak about a wide range of things, and now we're at the end. It's all been done before. But to talk about the snow, 2 big snow events within a few weeks of each other. 30 inches, another 12 inches came. Took a lot of heat, a lot of phone calls. Was down at Public Works a few times. Saw a lot of guys just ready to drop. But it's a combined effort. The Department of Public Works, Public Properties, the Fire Department, every department that was involved in helping to get this snow off our streets and make them safer. We appreciate, we thank you. I tell you, if you saw the faces of some of these guys who went down there, they were really working hard. But it was a perfect storm in that, you know, it came and then we had holiday garbage soon after. So the plows had to come off, salt had to go down, garbage had to be picked up. It was a mess. But I thank a lot of people for their patience. We got through it, and the second storm with a lot of the reverse 911 calls, people did get their cars off the street. And what it came down to, it was so much snow, there was no place to put it. You know, people were digging out, people were putting the snow in the street, trying to get their cars and saving spaces. But I think all in all, we got through it, we learned from it. The second storm proved that, and we appreciate everybody's effort. Second ward-related item, the West Elizabeth Avenue Flood Control Project, which will alleviate the flooding in Marion, Lexington, and Bradford Avenue, has been held up once again by our state bureaucratic requirements. According to Mr. Verchik, the project will finally be ready to bid in February. Linden is celebrating 150th anniversary this year. 1861, the township was established, and I've been appointed the chair of the anniversary committee. There will be a meeting tomorrow evening with a select few people in the mayor's office to discuss the scope of the project and set a timeline for events. The committee will plan to foster an understanding and appreciation of Linden's rich history on the part of all of its residents, and to facilitate a celebration of this historic anniversary, and we hope to include the entire community. The committee will assist in the planning of a year-long, town-wide celebration with planned events later in the year, hopefully culminating with our Fall Festival. I'm going to be attending the New Jersey League of Municipalities-sponsored orientation and workshop for newly elected and experienced city officials. The workshops bring elected officials up to date on important issues as laws change and major areas of their responsibility. I'll also be attending the Union County Shared Services Summit on February 2nd in Scotch Plains, and that will also help with both committees that I serve on, I'm sure. I also would like to lastly thank and congratulate Chief Boyle for his years of service, his professionalism, his help, many, many things that I've asked him for help on, and I wish him well in the future. End of report.
Thank you. Electronically, Mr. Kobelis? Can you hear us?
Yes, I just have to, I'll make it quick. I just want to congratulate Chief Boyle on his retirement, and the city will miss you. And I'll just make it brief. That concludes my report, Mr. President.
Thank you. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling better.
Thank you. It's good
Thank
to
you.
hear. Mayor's report?
Thank you, Council President. As the head of the police department, I'd like to congratulate Officer Poggi, Oliveira, and Hubert. Welcome aboard. You're coming into a quality police department. I was kept informed of all your attributes as you were vetted by Captain Schulhafer and Captain Vetrano, and I have to say that we stole the cream of the crop from the city of Newark. The city of Newark's loss is definitely Linden's gain, and I'm looking forward to having you guys work and protect the citizens of Linden. Again, welcome aboard, and good luck in your career in the city of Linden. Please stand, too, and be recognized. And with that said, sticking on the police department, I have to congratulate Chief Michael Boyle and wish him well in his retirement February 1st. 3.5 years ago, I recommended his appointment to fulfill the big shoes of Chief Miliano, who's sitting in our audience today. He did that extremely well, and I know that Acting Chief Schulhafer will take over and continue the tradition of professionalism in the Linden Police Department. Chief Boyle, I'm proud of you. You did a great job for the city of Linden, and I wish you well in your new career. Also, I'd like to commend the Public Works and Community Property for the tremendous job they did plowing our streets during the blizzard a couple of weeks ago. Many people for 3 days thereafter were calling my office complaining about our streets. I was out there that night. I was out there, and in the time I spent of about 4 or 5 hours, there was 35 accidents. There was cars stuck in the snow all over the place. We had a tanker on Park Avenue Bridge that couldn't make it. It was loaded with gasoline, and he was starting to slide backwards and jackknife and flip over the bridge. Wow. We had electric lights out. We had electricity failure. All the lights on the highway from Wood Avenue to Rawway were out, which was a hazardous situation. And in the meantime, we had to worry about plowing all our streets, which was done in a good professional manner by the Public Works and Community Property people. We had our fire department out. We had our police department. Again, I was extremely proud of the hard work and dedication of all our employees during this severe snowstorm. And quite honestly, I have to say to the residents of Linden who called my office for 3 days complaining about the streets and how they were plowed, that you have to be appreciative of the employees who worked so hard. Those streets were opened up in less than a day. They weren't perfect. Nobody's perfect when you have a blizzard and a 31-inch snowstorm. But considering that Linden, Rawley, and Elizabeth were at ground zero during that snowstorm, I am proud of all our employees, and again recommend to our citizens that we cannot tailor to individual needs and wants when it comes to plowing snow, especially in a blizzard. Also, continuing on with volunteerism by our residents to become involved in our city committees and affairs, the Mayor's Youth Commission and the Cultural Committee are volunteer committees that meet once a month. The Mayor's Youth Commission runs various activities for our youth, in particular Project Graduation, which provides them with an alcohol and drug-free night after graduation. The Cultural Committee has tree lighting ceremonies at Christmas and provides toys and Santa after the tree lighting ceremony. We have the September to Remember Festival on Wood Avenue, which is a tremendous success. But we need people to help us, to help the residents enjoy our great city. And I'm asking individuals that want to donate any time from 1 hour to 100 hours to please call my office, get involved with your city. This is your community, and everybody will be better off if you do so. That is all I have for my report. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd also like to say to the public that, we have an opportunity here to open the government to the people, and please, if there's a specialty that you have that you could bring as a volunteer, we're looking for any help we can get here. And I just want to thank the mayor personally for his hospitality, allowing me to move my office from downstairs to upstairs. It was rather isolated downstairs, and we've been able to communicate quite well by sitting together, and I want to thank for him making that possible, for allowing me to come up to the mayor's complex. Thank you, Mayor.
My pleasure, Council President.
All right, we're going to go into resolutions. Public comments will be permitted for those specific resolutions to be removed from the consent approval. Please read the synopsis of the resolutions, which have been prepared by the city's clerk's office. Each is informative and self-explanatory. However, if you wish to address a specific resolution, the council will entertain a question on it. Before I ask if anybody wishes to move a resolution, I ask Mr. Frazier, would you remove?
Yes, Mr. President. At this particular time, I'll make a motion to remove Resolution 2011-64 and move it for 1 month up until February. May I have a second on that, please?
Second.
Thank you.
Roll call.
Mr. Purcell.
Yes.
Frazier.
Yes.
Yamikaitis.
Yes.
Sheehy.
Yes.
Sadowski.
Yes.
Crosby Hurling.
Yes.
Armstead.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Koziel.
Yes.
Colvus.
Yes.
Mr. Moore.
Yes. Okay, based upon that, we've removed that. Does anybody in the audience wish to have anything removed from the, we'll start over here, please. Would you stand for, moment, please. Would you stand for the purpose of the clerk to see who you are? Could you repeat that again, please?
30, 40, 61?
30, 40, 61. Yes, sir. Slow, please, sir. Slower. 25. You- 25, 35.
55 and
It's hard to hear. Anybody from the, Ms. Malik? $28? 28, 29? $34? And $35. Anybody from the center here? Wish to remove anything from the resolutions? Over here? 47 for Mr. Toley. Anyone else in the room? Okay. Ask for a motion on the ones that are not under removal.
Thank you, Mr. President. At this particular time, I make a motion to approve all of the resolutions with the exceptions of Resolution 2011-13. I'll just call the last two digits. 28, 29, 30, excuse me, 25 also, 30, 35, 40, 47, and 55.
Mrs. Malik, did you ask for?
34 also.
Right.
And 61, excuse me. I think we got them all.
Excellent job, sir.
May I have a second on that?
Second.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Purcell.
Mr. Purcell.
Yes.
Frazier.
Yes.
Yemakaitis.
Yes.
Sheehy.
Yes.
Sadowski.
Yes.
Crosby Hurling.
Yes.
Armstead.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Koziel.
Yes.
Kolobus.
Yes.
Mr. Moore.
Yes. Resolution 13, Diane Wolverley. Would you please come up? Diane, all right. This is on resolution number 13. Mrs. Malik? I'm sorry, we got the names wrong.
Basically, my question pertains to, we're having a budget issue, and what I really want to know is what is the status of negotiation or discussions for city employees to have contributions to their medical benefits?
Mr. Brown?
Yeah, I think that would be Frazier or Allen.
Mr. Roth?
Mr. President, that's negotiations. I can tell you in the public that we have contracts. We are attempting to speak to our unions. In fact, I have 2 meetings set up tomorrow. But all I can do right now that we have actual contracts in place, all I can say is that we're looking for the best interest of the unions to come forth and help the city. But right now, as we have contracts, all we can do is ask them to sit down and discuss it with us.
Okay, and I guess this is also in light of number 61, where there is this, well, someone I guess is going to be speaking on 61, but what I'd like to say to Councilman Brown, since you're in the budgeting here, to take it to heart about a comment for the city employees and their contributions to their medical benefits.
In Mrs. Malik, I read in the paper that the governor's asked the state workers to contribute 30% recently. Thank you. Ask for a motion?
Yes. Mr. President, make a motion to approve 2011-30 and seek a second.
Second.
30.
Call.
I'm sorry, 13.
Mr.
And seek a
Purcell.
second.
Second.
Mr. Purcell. Frazier.
Yes.
Yamakaitis.
Yes.
Sheehy.
Yes.
Sadowski.
Yes.
Crosby Hurling.
Yes.
Armstead.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Kozio.
Yes.
Colibus.
Yes.
Mr. Moore.
Yes. Resolution 25, Paul. Would you give us your full name, sir, when you come up?
My name is Paul Shoppy. I reside at 315 Second Avenue, Linden, New Jersey.
Thank you.
The reason I question this is this not our state senator? This prosecutor?
It's Mr. Scutari is also a state senator. He's been the prosecutor, and he's annually reappointed as that.
Is that new law or old law?
Excuse me?
Isn't this positions in the state? Does he not pay into the state pension system under both the city of Linden and the state of New Jersey?
That I would have no idea which pension systems he's paying into.
Well, how could he be representing me as a state senator in Trenton and being prosecuting here on the same day, every day? And here on number 55, you have a resolution authorizing professional services from another prosecutors. So that means like every time he's absent, we had to put up another $300 a day?
Number 55 is, we've always had prosecutors available if needed. That doesn't mean they will be used. There's always been a list of available other alternate prosecutors should sickness, illness, or for other reasons Mr. Scutari isn't there. Beyond a certain number of days, Mr. Scutari would pay for any replacement prosecutors.
If I may, Mr. Sharpie, I believe there was Assemblyman Fay, who was a teacher out of Linden, and they passed a law allowing a person who had a job to leave that position to go to the legislature.
Yeah, but how, it doesn't make no sense to me. The man's holding down 2 jobs, and
I believe the legislature abolished that, and the existing people that had 2 jobs were grandfathered.
No,
Mr. Brown?
I just want to clarify. I think what you're saying is that you're talking about being in 2 pension systems, correct?
in the same pension.
Yeah. All right. The reason why I know a little bit about this is that one of the things is I wanted to give up my pension. This is something that I actually call the Division of Local Government Services. The way it is, unfortunately, in New Jersey, and it's according to the Division of Local Government Services, is that I requested to give up my pension benefits. But unfortunately, if you're a public employee making more than $5,000, you're required by the contract that the state of New Jersey has with Prudential to contribute to that pension system. So unfortunately, even myself, where I want to give up my pension, because the way the contract, the state of New Jersey has it with Prudential, the insurance company, you're forced to contribute to that. So you can't even waive that. So, that's something that I would like to see change myself.
Well, the only question I have is if he has a vote to do in Trenton, at the same time there's court going on here, how could he be in 2 positions at one time?
In regards to Trenton, I used to work for a senator. The sessions that they have down in Trenton usually are on Tuesdays, sometimes on Thursdays. And so I don't see the judge here or anybody, but when he's down in Trenton, they have those set days. So it's not you're not in Trenton 5 days a week. He has a legislative office, I know, in New Jersey, in Linden. And so when he's doing his legislative work, he's here in Linden. When he's down in Trenton, that's only maybe 1 or 2 days at most during the week. Some weeks, they're not down there at all.
But what I'm trying to say is, the days that he has to be down there, and he also has court going on here, how could he be in 2 places at one time?
For understand, I don't think they're scheduled at the same time.
I'm sure there's court here every day, isn't there?
No.
Monday to Friday?
The-
To me, that's somebody getting some money in their pocket somewhere here.
And a little bit about the pension system. I was in the same situation. However, that since I retired, I'm not eligible for a pension system, and I'm no longer in it for the municipal government. Number 28, I have motion on the floor for number 25.
Thank you, Mr. President. I make a motion to approve 2011-25, and I seek a second, please.
Second.
Mr. Purcell.
Yes.
Frazier.
Yes.
Yamakaitis.
Yes.
Sheehy.
No.
Sadowski.
Yes.
Cosby Hurling.
Yes.
Armstead.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Kozio.
Yes.
Colibus.
Yes.
Mr. Moore.
Yes. Number 28, I believe that Ms. Smelly, please.
Virginia Malik, Linden Road. Why are we so vague when we talk about like certain professionals for certain positions? Who are these professionals and what are these positions?
These are all professional positions that the city may contract with. There's a request for qualifications sent out in November, December of the prior year. The qualifications are delivered to the city, and they're reviewed, and everyone that has met the qualifications is then put on a list.
But what are these certain, you say certain positions? It's not,
There are, I think there's about, it's about several pages. It's every single position in the city that would be contracted.
okay.
For lack of a better words, we call it a vendor's list. It's
call it what?
a vendor's list.
Okay.
It's a list of people that we can hire. And RFQs?
RFPs or RFPs.
RFPs.
Proposals, okay.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Council President,
Yes, sir.
I have a copy here for Ms. Malik if she just wants to look it over while she's here of the vendors.
Thank you. Make a motion, please.
Mr. President, motion to approve 2011-28. Seek a second.
Second.
Thank you.
Mr. Purcell.
Yes.
Frazier.
Yes.
Yamakaitis.
Yes.
Sheehy.
Yes.
Sadowski.
Yes.
Cosby Hurling.
Yes.
Armstead.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Kozio.
Yes.
Colibus.
Yes.
Mr. Moore.
Yes. Resolution number 29, I believe it's Ms. Smelly.
For this e-ticketing, what's it going to be used for, and what kind of cost savings are we going to gain using this system here?
Chief.
Quickly, I'll just, and then pass it over to the chief. What e-ticketing is that police officers that issue summonses, whether it be parking a motor vehicle or our parking enforcement officers, right now they have a hard copy and they write out each individual parking summons by hand. This is more or less a computer that will have everything on the screen. When I punch out a ticket for overdue parking, all they do is hit a button and the whole ticket will be done except for the information of the car and the license plate number.
So what does it say, just transcribing what he hand wrote onto a computer system sometime later?
No, what happens is it automatically, by wire, goes to a computer in the municipal court and is stored in that data bank. It goes to the state, is stored in that data bank, and goes to our traffic bureau, where it's stored in that data bank, where previously, or right now, what we're doing is the hard copy goes to each of those departments, and somebody got to physically enter it in a
That's what I said,
computer.
okay. All right, so
And I'd like to, Captain Schulhafer to talk a little bit about the cost. The cost.
Yeah, the resolution is a little misleading. There really is not a $60,000 fee up front. The way it works is the company provides the hardware and the software to us, and they take a fee from each ticket that's issued in the amount of a little less than $2 per ticket. And with that, as I said, they supply the equipment. They will maintain the equipment, and if need be, replace it in the future for that same fee.
Chief, could you also tell us about what additionally information you get from it?
What did he say?
Say that again? I didn't.
Also, additionally, we can receive additional information from this.
He's talking about NCIC and all that.
Well, Council President.
Well, two ways it saves time, in that it allows us to issue tickets much more quickly. And in the case of a driver, we could scan the driver's license in to automatically populate it. And it also checks for NCIC warrants, wanted people. So it helps us out in a couple of areas.
Thank you, Mr. Malik. Pat Hero, I ask for a motion.
Yes, Mr. President, I make a motion to approve 2011-29, I seek a second.
Second?
Thank you.
Mr. Rochelle?
Yes.
Frazier?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Sheehy?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling?
Yes.
Armstead?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Koziel?
Yes.
Colibus?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes. Number 30, Ms. Hero, please.
I have a question. What is a preemption traffic signal?
That's a device that's going to be installed on Park Avenue and Route 1 and Wood Avenue and Route 1. And what it is a receiver attached to the light, and there's transmitters in various police and fire vehicles, so that when they approach that intersection, they could push a button and it'll automatically recycle the traffic light on Route 1 and 9 so that it turns to red. Right now, the emergency vehicles have to wait on Wood Avenue or Park Avenue for that light to cycle its natural cycle before cutting across 6 lanes of highway traffic going 60 miles an hour. So that's going to save time for our emergency vehicles to cross from one side of town on Route 1 and 9 to the other.
How come, though, the contract is being amended? Didn't they agree to do it for a certain amount, so why are they asking for more money?
I'll defer that to the engineer.
The original amount was for the design. Now that we have a contractor, we need a inspector out there. So that this monies are for inspection.
Okay, thank you.
Motion, please.
Mr. President, make a motion to approve 2011-30 and seek a second.
Second?
Thank you.
Mr. Purcell?
Yes.
Frazier?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Sheehy?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling?
Yes.
Armstead?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Koziel?
Yes.
Colibus?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes. Resolution number 34, Mrs. Malik, and 35. If you could address them at the same time, please.
Can you just explain, what's to be, what are these resolutions authorizing and the state contracts? And you can just, as the council president said, just combine them both together. Just explain.
Can you talk about that?
Yeah. Just, the state bids a number of items. They go the whole process, and they select the vendors, and then they extend the bids and those pricing to the municipalities, so we don't have to go through it. When there's departments like fire and police that require a lot of different equipment on a regular basis, we usually purchase it from state contract. This is authorizing the use of those state contracts for the city of Linden to make its purchases.
Okay, fine, thank you.
So it's a cost savings.
Beg your pardon?
It's a cost savings.
Okay. But so when one other question, so when they're going out for these bids here, then that can supersede any of the lists that the city of Linden may have for certain things?
Yeah, so basically what happens is that the state goes out and bid rather than the municipality. And so then, because the state most likely will have a lower bid.
bargaining power.
Yeah, so then we can go and use the state contractor. So I think one example, Joe, correct me if I'm wrong, would be like supplies. Like I think we go to the state for supplies, for example.
Okay, all right, thanks.
Thank you. Motion for both 34 and 35?
Mr. President, make a motion to approve 2011-35, CK second. 34. And 36, CK second.
Second.
Mr. Purcell.
Yes.
Frazier.
Yes.
Yamakaitis.
Yes.
Sheehy.
Yes.
Sadowski.
Yes.
Cosby Hurling.
Yes.
Armstead.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Koziel.
Yes.
Colivus.
Yes.
Mr. Moore.
Yes, that was on 34 and 35, Clerk? Thank you. Motion number 40.
Number 40.
Pat Hero, please.
Why do we need a special bankruptcy counsel?
We have special bankruptcy counsel. They've been working with us for a few years. We have taxpayers, properties in the past, Kmart, other properties, owners that have gone bankrupt, and they work filing the proper notices because it's a specialty with the bankruptcy court, so that we get listed to get our taxes paid from those people, those entities. So they essentially work with the tax collector's office.
Okay, is this something that you can't do?
Special bankruptcy is a specialized area of the law.
I do know that.
Yeah, and I have no experience in practicing in the bankruptcy courts.
Okay, thank you.
Resolution number 47, Mr. Tully.
Mr. President.
Motion, please.
Make a motion to approve 2011-40, CK second.
Second.
Thank you. Mr. Purcell.
Yes.
Frazier.
Yes.
Yamakaitis.
Yes.
Sheehy.
Yes.
Sadowski.
Yes.
Cosby Hurling.
Yes.
Armstead.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Koziel.
Yes.
Colivus.
Yes.
Mr. Moore.
Yes. Resolution 47, Mr. Tully, please.
Yeah, last night I sat in the caucus meeting and this was brought up. I just have a couple of clarifications I'd like to have made. This was done in a bidding process, a request for qualification process. Exactly how was it done? Because bidding and qualifications are two separate entities, so.
Mr. Roth, I guess the
I can-
differences between the RFQs?
I could respond to that. The selection of Brown & Brown as a broker was done through an RFQ process. Brown & Brown then placed our requirements for insurance out to a number of companies, and the lowest quote was selected. to
Mr.
provide
Clerk,
that.
could you explain what the RFQ means?
Request for proposals.
And what is the RFP?
I'm sorry, RFQ is
Request for qualifications.
One is request for
Proposals
qualification and the other one's
right.
request for proposal.
For proposals,
I understand what RFQ, RFP means,
That's
okay?
for the purpose of the public at home.
I'm sorry. What I'm asking is, were there other brokers that put in for this, or is Brown & Brown the only candidate?
Brown & Brown is the one that is our broker of record as of today, and they needed to procure this coverage. They then went to several insurance companies and obtained quotes, and I believe the amount is about $15,000 less than last year on this coverage.
I'm sorry, Mr. Bodek, that's not what I'm asking. Did other people put in RFQs?
Yes.
How did we, I mean, I'm assuming there were no bid amounts, so it wasn't about a low bidder kind of thing, because this wasn't a bid, it was a qualification. Yes? No?
Yes, it was qualification.
Okay. So how did we choose one over the other? What are the standards or the guidelines that we set?
The city looked at their qualifications, how many people, how many other places where they were located. We brought this broker on about 3 years ago, and we've had very good results with them, so that's why we've selected them to continue doing it. They replaced somebody else.
So it wasn't like they were any better than the others, because you don't know if the others were any better than these people? Is that what you're telling me?
Again, I think we've been doing
So
very well.
just because you have had past practice with them, this is how they were selected? Because they were somebody of record?
And again,
already?
they replaced somebody about 3 years ago. So we have switched brokers.
Okay, I mean, I don't know if this is saving us money or costing us money. I mean, it's hard to tell because we didn't look at anybody else. And I know that right now we're on this, we need to cut, we need to save, and I'm just wondering why we're not looking at other people to see if they would come in at lower prices. Thank you.
Can I have Al help out and speak on this? Because Al, he's chair of the insurance commission.
Mr. Brown, through the president.
Alan, who?
I think
McDonald.
Oh.
I think, Mr. President, said you have to go to the chair if you want to request somebody to come to the mic.
Can I request?
Yes, we've been using
Oh,
Brown.
oh, oh,
Can I request the chairman of the insurance commission to speak on it?
Would you
Council
please,
President?
Mr. McDonald?
Surely. We've been using Brown & Brown for the past 3 years. We got away from another broker that was getting roughly 3 quotes per insurance policy at that time. Ever since then, Brown & Brown has gotten at least 5, 6, sometimes 8 or 10 proposals from the different insurance companies. Every year consecutively for the past 3 years, we have gone down with our maintaining our coverage, yet the amount that we pay has gone down considerably each year. We saved $8,000 on one policy this year. So that's why we continue to use Brown & Brown. We've had very good service from them, and we're continuing to save money.
Mr. McDonald, I think what Mrs. Tottoli is trying to say, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that did we send out a description of the job for other people to bid on?
The requests for quotations are sent out to anybody who wants to apply for that, it's done. Then we can select the broker. The broker fees are almost exactly the same, if not exactly the same, from broker to broker.
Was the process where we put it out for the vendors to apply, explain what specifically, so that we can have different people bid on it?
That's what the request for quotation involves.
And that was done?
Yes, it was.
Thank you.
Is that it?
55. Motion, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Make a motion on 2011-47 and seek a second.
Second.
Thank you.
Mr. Purcell.
Yes.
Frazier.
Yes.
Yemakaitis.
Yes.
Sheehy.
Yes.
Sadowski.
Yes.
Crosby Hurling.
Yes.
Armstead.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Koziel.
Yes.
Colibus.
Yes.
Mr. Moore.
Yes. And resolution number 55. Paul. Does anybody have anything to say about resolution 55, 2011-55? I apologize. Motion on 55?
Thank you, Mr. President. Make a motion on 2011-55 and seek a second.
Second.
Thank you.
Mr. Purcell.
Yes. Frazier.
Frazier.
Yes.
Yemakaitis.
Yes.
Sheehy.
Yes.
Sadowski.
Yes.
Crosby Hurling.
Yes.
Armstead.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Koziel.
Yes.
Colibus.
Yes.
Mr. Moore.
Yes. Motion number 61, Pat Hero.
I've addressed this at previous council meetings, but since we have several new people on council, I'm going to, I guess, address this again. When I worked for the private sector and actually had health benefits, a subject I no longer have, we had something like family coverage or single coverage, and me always being single, I always had single coverage. But I worked with someone who had family coverage through her husband, and she didn't have this option to get money because she was already covered and waiving the health benefits. The university didn't pay her to waive her health benefits. She just was covered under her husband's policy, I believe. So I'd like to issue a challenge to the members of the council, the mayor, the council president, and the members of the council. If you are employed by the county, through the school board, or through the city, and if your benefits are covered by maybe having a relative employed through the county, through the school board, or through the city, I would like you to waive the option of taking this $4,000 in health benefits inducement. The only people I believe that should be getting the $4,000 are if you're paying the full rate of it on your own. For example, I know when I left my employment, I did, and worked as a temp, I did cover all of my health benefit costs, and I didn't get any of it waived through my agency. I had to do the full freight. And if you're doing it that way, then I believe the $4,000 is a legitimate employee inducement. If not, don't take the $4,000. A lot of our financial situations are a lot more dire than you can imagine, and we don't need you taking an extra $4,000 on top of what the salary you're already being paid. You should thank God you have health benefits. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Sarah. Mr. Roth, can you comment on that, please?
Yes, Mr. Moore. This resolution, Ms. Hero, is dealing with a different issue. The council, 2 months ago, I believe, passed a policy whereby the only way they are entitled to receive benefits from the city is to certify that they cannot get it from any other place of employment through a spouse or through any pension system that they have. So they would have to file a certification, put it on and it has to be filed with the city clerk. So as far as I know, well, not as far as I know, the policy was passed, and so it's in place that they're not entitled to receive benefits unless they complete the certification. The resolution for this is there was a change in the health benefits law, and basically this now delineates what the new law is from May of 2010. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that brings us to ordinance on first reading.
You're gonna make
Motion, please.
Mr. President, make a motion on 2011-61, and I seek a second. Second. Thank you.
Mr. Purcell.
Yes.
Frazier.
Yes.
Yamakaitis.
Yes.
Sheehy.
Yes.
Sadowski.
Yes.
Cosby Hurling.
Yes.
Armstead.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Kozio.
Yes.
Colibus.
Yes.
Mr. Moore.
Yes. I apologize to the public. I'm still on a learning curve here. Ordinance is on first reading, 5501.
An ordinance to amend and supplement Chapter 7 Traffic shall be amended as follows. Chapter 7, Section 7-14.2, no parking during school hours. Add West 17th Street, South Side, between Southwood Avenue and Winans Avenue. And add West 18th Street on the north side between Southwood Avenue and Winans Avenue.
Motion.
I'd like to make a motion to introduce ordinance 5501 and ask for a second.
Second.
Mr. Pichel?
Yes.
Frazier?
Yes.
Yamikaitis?
Yes.
Sheehy?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling?
Yes.
Armstead?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Koziol?
Yes.
Colibus?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes. Ordinance on first reading, 5502.
An ordinance to amend and supplement Chapter 7 Traffic shall be amended as follows. Chapter 7 Traffic, Section 7-15, parking by permit only in designated residential areas. Delete 18th Street, north side, from Southwood Avenue to Winans Avenue.
Motion.
I would like to introduce ordinance 5502 and ask for a second.
Second.
Mr.
Roll call.
Pichel? Frazier?
Yes.
Yamikaitis?
Yes.
Sheehy?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling?
Yes.
Armstead?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Koziol?
Yes.
Colibus?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes. Ordinance 5503.
An ordinance to amend and supplement Chapter 7 Traffic shall be amended as follows. Chapter 7 Traffic, Section 7-15, parking by permit only. Add new section 7-15.d, teacher permit parking only. Add West 17th Street, South Side, from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., Monday through Friday. And add Winans Avenue, both sides, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., Monday through Friday.
Motion.
I would like to introduce ordinance 5503 and ask for a second.
Second.
Mr. Pichel?
Yes.
Frazier?
Yes.
Yemekaitis?
Yes.
Sheehy?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling? Armstead?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Koziol?
Yes.
Colibus?
yes,
Mr. Moore?
Yes. Ordinance 5504.
An ordinance to amend and supplement Chapter 7 Traffic shall be amended as follows. Chapter 7, Section 7-26, Loading Zone. Section 7-26.1, Pickup and Drop-Off Zones. Delete Spruce Street, Monday through Friday, from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. and 2:30 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. on the west side. And add Spruce Street, Monday through Friday on the west side, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. and 2:30 p.m. to 3:30 p.m.
Motion, please.
Mr. President, I move for introduction and ask for a second.
Second.
Mr. Pichel? Frazier?
Yes.
Yemekaitis?
Yes.
Sheehy?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling?
Yes.
Armstead?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Koziol?
Yes.
Colibus?
yes,
Mr. Moore?
Yes. Ordinance 5505.
An ordinance to amend and supplement Chapter 7 Traffic shall be amended as follows. Chapter 7, Section 7-20, One-Way Streets. Add the following streets. West 17th Street, from Winans Avenue to Southwood Avenue, and add West 18th Street in the west direction from Southwood Avenue to Winans Avenue.
Motion, please.
I would like to introduce this ordinance 5505 and ask for a second.
Second.
Mr. Pichel?
Yes.
Frazier?
Yes.
Yemekaitis?
Yes.
Sheehy?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling?
Yes.
Armstead?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Koziol?
Yes.
Colibus? Mr. Colibus?
yes,
Mr. Moore?
Yes. Motion 5507.
Ordinance to amend and supplement Chapter 7 Traffic shall be amended as follows. Section 7-26, Loading Zone, add to Section 7-26.1, West 18th Street, from Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. and 2:30 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. on the north side.
Motion, please.
I would like to introduce this ordinance and ask for a second.
Second.
Mr. Pichel?
Yes.
Frazier?
Yes.
Yemekaitis?
Yes.
Sheehy?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling?
Yes.
Armstead?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Koziol?
Yes.
Colibus?
yes,
Mr. Moore?
Yes. And 5508, please.
5507.
I'm sorry.
An ordinance to amend and supplement Chapter 7 Traffic shall be amended as follows. Chapter 7, Section 7-27, Bus Stops, add to Section 7-27A, West 17th Street, eastbound on the southerly side, from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. and 2:30 p.m. to 3:30 p.m., Monday through Friday.
Motion, please.
I would like to introduce this ordinance 5507 and ask for a second.
Second.
Mr. Pichel?
Yes.
Frazier?
Yes.
Yemekaitis?
Yes.
Sheehy?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling?
Yes.
Armstead?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Koziol?
Yes.
Colibus?
yes,
Mr. Moore?
Yes. 5508, please.
An ordinance to amend and supplement Chapter 31 zoning shall be amended as follows. Section 31-20.25 prohibited uses. Add new section 31-20.25E as follows. Hookah bars and lounges.
Motion, please.
Mr. President, I move for introduction on 5508 and seek a second.
Second.
Mr. Pichel?
Yes.
Frazier?
Yes.
Yemekaitis?
Yes.
Sheehy?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling?
Yes.
Armstead?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Koziol?
Yes.
Colibus?
Yes,
Mr. Moore?
Yes. 5509.
An An ordinance to amend and supplement Chapter 7 Traffic shall be amended as follows. Section 7-33.1A, handicap parking on street. Add 1123 East Blanky Street, 1 space. Add 717 Harrison Place. Delete 318 Garfield Street, 216 Gessner Street, 507 Hagel Avenue, 1019 John Street, 400 Knopf Street, 409 Knopf Street, 631 Loretta Street, and 514 Roselle Street.
Motion, please.
Yes, Mr. President, I move for the introduction of ordinance 55-09 and request a second.
Second.
Mr. Pichel? Frazier?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Sheehy?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling?
Yes.
Armstead?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Koziol?
Yes.
Colibus?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes. Thank you. When I sat in the audience, prior to being elected, predecessor had a policy of not allowing people to speak on the ordinances on first reading. My policy is to change that, to give the council a month to think about the public's input on a subject. So from now on, if anybody has anything they'd like to say about the ordinances, we'll accept your comments, please. That will bring us into comments from members of the public in attendance. And I would like to ask Rebecca Totoli.
Good evening. First of all, you know, I have to make a statement here because I sat in the caucus last night, and I have to say I was a little upset when I left there. In one breath, we talk about safety. We hired 3 police officers tonight. Probably going to cost us about $250,000 with everything included: salary, benefits, pension, Medicare, whatever else. I understand Chief Boyle is retiring, and I'm sure his salary is upwards of $140,000, $150,000 plus benefits. But we're talking about a budget crisis in this town. That's all I hear. We need to save money. We need to make cuts. We need to do reductions. And I'm not saying that crime hasn't risen in this community, because we have everything from shoplifting to murder this last year. And I'm not saying that these 3 men don't warrant to be police officers in our community or any other community for that matter. And believe me, I feel for them that they had gotten laid off from their previous position. But you talk about safety in one breath, and in another breath, you're laying off 6 firefighters. This past year, our fires have almost doubled in amounts. We lead the county in the number of fires. And yet you're still laying off 7. But you say it's all for the safety and the good of the community. I don't get it. In one breath, you tell individuals that they have to live in the community, and I understand what you said tonight, Councilman Armstead, that people have to live in this community to gain, to be hired through the process. And of course, right now, I think we have a requirement of at least 1 year probation after hiring. And yet we're hiring 3 Newark laid-off police officers. And again, this is nothing about the individuals themselves. I don't know them. I'm sure they came with great credibility. I know Chief Boyle since we're young individuals, kids, and I know that he wouldn't do anything that wasn't in the best interest of this community. But yet we're hiring 3 people, so we kind of talk out of mixed messages, giving or talking out of both sides of our mouth. We want safety, we don't want safety. We want residency, we don't want residency. I understand they were trained. We talk about the need that it's important that they were trained. But yet, and I have to say, you did pull it tonight, we're willing to put an individual on the bench who has no training, wasn't a public defender, wasn't a prosecutor, but yet he's going to be he's going to be put on the bench. I'm very glad that you've pulled that 2011-64 for reconsideration. Another thing, we've been told that it's not going to be the same old, same old. If you're kin, you're in, and cronyism. The days of those things are gone. But yet, the individual that was pulled from the agenda tonight was a campaign manager for someone in this room. If that's not cronyism, I don't know what is. You have department heads, and I'm sure each and every one of them have earned the position to be where they are. And I believe that everything they do is in the best interest of their department and for the city and its residents. But yet, this council seems to feel that there's a need to micromanage. I've been watching it for the last few months, and it's really upsetting and pitiful. You know what? Maybe we should just lay off all the department heads, because I'm sure we could save a lot of money, and all of you could run the departments, because that's what you seem to want to be doing. I just feel that each and every one of you, whether it's once, twice, or all the time, give mixed messages. You instill no confidence, not to the residents, and certainly not to your employees. Nothing has changed, nothing is new, nothing is different, and it seems to be business as usual. Council President Moore, I'm going to give you two reports that I obtained through Oprah that I've brought up in the past. You were not sitting in that chair at the time, and I don't know if you've ever seen these. One of them is a report that I obtained through Oprah in regards to a study that was done by a department head, Chief Rizzo, in the fire department, that was requested by, at the time, I think it was the Personnel and Finance. I think it's a very interesting read. I think you should read it. The other one was a study that was done by an outside entity from Syracuse, New York. Brought this up last month. This was done and completed in October of '04. It was a 100-page document when we were looking to either what was the best interest of the buildings of the fire department. Rebuild, knock down, rebuild, or fix up. What was more cost effective. In that 99-page document, there were 3 pages that kind of stood out. So I took just those 3 pages out because the percentage, about 99% of that document was only and solely about the buildings. These 3 pages specifically speak about a study, basically, that was done by the company in reference to firefighters, the personnel, apparatus, etc. I think you need to watch.
Thank you. Mrs. Yamakakis, we presently have a study being under,
Yes, we do.
and what's the purpose of the study?
The purpose of the study is to evaluate our EMS services, whether we should, the city should take it on full time, whether we should not do it at all, or whether we should also looking to hire EMTs through the city. The other one is to evaluate the fire department. What you were just handed was done by an engineering firm, if you look at who did that study.
CNS companies.
Just read it, Council President.
I absolutely
And make your
will.
own
I will
opinion.
absolutely read it.
Thank you.
I assure you that.
Last but not least, last night, Chief Boyle brought up that one of the reasons that they had to hire these police officers is they have to maintain a complement, I think it is, of 10, or else they'll lose a grant, although none of the grant money at the present time is being used for any of these 3 new hirees, but it's to save that annual grant of 8 or 9 years that we've been getting. That grant only amounts to $50,000 to $60,000 a year, because I checked. So, to save a $50,000 grant, we're going to spend $250 that we don't, $250,000 that we don't have right now. Thank you.
Council President, can I make just one comment for
Mr. Mayor?
clarification? Again, a lot of this is old arguments by Ms. Totoli. Her son is being laid off, so I understand her frustration. But there's been no murders in the city of Linden. The Linden Police Department is down 13 men. Therefore, we are hiring 3 so that there is only 10 left that are not fulfilling the complement. That's 10 police officers that the city is down, and the chief of police and the PBA are working with us to provide the same services for the safety, health, and welfare of the residents. So that's why we hired these 3 more police officers, because we're expecting additional retirements in the near future, and the police department is down 10 men already.
Mr. Mayor, can you check on the murder?
I believe you're incorrect, Rich. I believe it was 19th or 20th Street. Gentleman was shot or whatever, knifed down there, and by someone that came into his...
I stand corrected. You are correct.
And that was this past year?
Yes, it was.
Okay, thank you. And just to run off of something you said, so we are basing hiring of individuals on a forecast of future retirees. Nothing set in stone yet outside of Chief Boyle. Yes? No?
No.
Correct me if I'm wrong?
We have 3 retirements, 2 already, and
What did the, I know Chief Boyle was gone in 2 weeks.
2 weeks. We had a lieutenant retire on the 1st.
Okay.
And there was
Deputy Chief?
When does he retire?
1 more retiring, and then there's 1 officer retiring, and the deputy chief and another officer going on the
April 1st.
April 1st with the 31st. So we'll be down 2 more after come April.
Well, you're down 9 in the fire department, and then you'll be down 15 after the 25th, and which brings me...
No, ma'am, we're not.
Mr. Roth, can you use the microphone, please?
Thank you.
I've mentioned this before, when we looked at cuts throughout the entire city, and as Mr. Tolley, you had mentioned yesterday in caucus, 10% cuts across the board. That was the mandate of the council, to cut 10% of salaries, not operating budgets. So we cut 10% of salaries. Through attrition, the way I and the personnel department calculated with finance to make the 10% cuts is to cut funded positions. Cutting unfunded positions is not saving a dime. And the council understood that and said, no, we're not cutting unfunded positions, only funded positions. So the fire department has 5 vacancies that are currently on the books and funded. They were taking, those 5 positions were taken away from the fire department. In the police department, they were down 10 funded officers plus 2 clerical staff. And then we lost these other officers, or these not lost, but we retired. These other officers are retiring.
Well, they're not all gone yet.
But they're retiring. And so that is why when you're talking about 9 positions, you're not down 9 positions. We looked at cutting 5 funded positions that were in the fire department.
Wait a minute. So you're telling me that that the fire department is only 5 down, not 9 at the present time?
I said that we are cutting 5 funded positions from the fire department that we were able to do through attrition. That's how we calculated this 10%. Is we tried to do it through concessions, and attrition.
So then what's the complement in the fire department? I know what the complement is in the police department because Chief Boyle told us last night. Can I ask Chief Rizzo that? I'm kind of
That's
confused
fine.
here.
Through the chair.
Well,
Your question?
Council President, can I ask Chief Rizzo a question?
Please.
The complement, according to ordinance right now, is 126. The funded complement of 2010 was 123. Right now, we have 5 vacancies and 1 pending retirement. So we're 6 short from the 123.
And then with these layoffs on the 25th, it will be 12.
Correct.
Okay. So who determines, never mind. You know what? Because I'm not even going to get the answer on. You guys will make something up. I'm sorry. It's very frustrating. It really is very frustrating. Mm.
Mr. Roth,
I'm
are we
sure.
done, in your opinion, as far as looking for reductions in the budget?
For this round, yes, but there's another round, as we had discussed. I need time to put it together with the consolidation of several of the departments, the restructuring of the other departments through the attrition. So we'll be presenting an additional plan in March.
So the public could expect additional reductions?
That is our anticipation, yes, sir.
Thank you.
So the 25th is their final day. What time is that? Midnight? Like if they work on the 24th through, because you got to remember their schedule's a 24-hour period. So if they go in at 7 o'clock on the 24th, they don't get out till 7 o'clock on the 25th. Does that mean they walk out the door at midnight on the 25th?
No,
What is?
Mr. Tully, it's put into the civil service as if they're working on the night of the day of the 25th into the 26th, then when their shift ends the morning of the 26th, then
So
they
at
would
12
leave.
midnight on the 25th into the 26th, if
No, ma'am. Chief, they work
they work
till the next
7 a.m.
morning.
to 7 a.m.
What we decided was they work, the firefighters that will be working on the 25th will end their shift. We work 2 shifts in a 24-hour period. They will end their shift at the beginning of the night tour.
So that would be like midnight,
No, it would be at
11.
6 o'clock p.m.
Oh, 6 o'clock in the evening. What happens if they're in the middle of a fire?
Well, then they'll stay.
Okay.
Lisa Grunder? Please come forward and state your comments. And please keep it to 5 minutes.
Okay, my name is Lisa Grunder. I live at 1818 Mildred Avenue, and I'm in receipt of an unpaid balance of $1,186 from the Linden Emergency Medical Services, which was a bill for 2 transports from Mildred Avenue to Trinitas Hospital for my husband who has a serious illness. I called the attorney's office, which is now in collection since my husband is on SSI and disability and I'm unemployed. And they told me that this $1,186 was the balance due since the insurance, which I don't have, is charity care, would not cover. So my question to you, prior to this is only two dates, which I was unable to get the backup, which I did. I'm waiting for it in the mail. There were 2 other transports, which I've never been billed for yet, as of yet. Now, my question, I've never been before billed for this. This is a surprise to me. Now, I'm sure it's a surprise to many other people. Where did this bill come from? And prior to this, like years ago, I had, my daughter had a neck injury. I've never received a bill. I had the fire department come to my home, no problem. I believe that I received, we gave a donation. At that point, I believe we had no insurance either. So why now, at this point in time, am I getting a bill of $1,186 for something that I can't possibly pay? I can't physically shovel. I know there's a job for shoveling available. This, I could go to Atlantic City cheaper.
Council President, number one, both the fire department and the EMS bill for services. If there's situations such as yours, why don't you come to my office? We'll make some phone calls. Is that an EMS bill or a fire department bill?
I can't tell, I don't know the difference. I didn't know there were two choices. It says Linden Emergency Medical Services.
Okay.
Their client is American Trading Company. I don't know.
If you would be so kind, come to my office, and we'll give them a call and straighten the matter out.
Okay, thank you very much. I just wanted to bring it to everybody's attention that what was going on. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Paul? Keep it to 5 minutes, please.
I'd like to thank the city for the great snow removal service. The first time wasn't good, but the second time we were a little bit prepared. I seen the emergency signs, and the mayor called the no parking and everything. I says in future storms that we have snow removal signs put up that in case of snow emergency, at least one side of the street be cleared. This way our drivers could be more efficient in opening the roads wider. I found out the second storm, the police put things around the parking meters. The next day, Wood Avenue was wide open and clear to go. And people were able to park and then shop in the stores. First time we weren't prepared. Another thing is the crosswalks for the children. You know, I got action when I came down here and I opened up my mouth and went up to the mayor's office. 2 hours later, the job was done. I thank you, Mayor, and your officer you had in office that day. It was very good. And another thing, where are the cuts being made throughout all departments? I see that the police and fire department are being hurt very bad. During Christmas time, I went down to the one rec center down here. And I see a lot of city employees that work in the rec department standing around, watching the people open up their toys and presents and digging it all out. But I counted like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 employees standing there. You know, that's calls for cuts in that department. I see them standing around, drinking a cup of coffee and hanging around. If that was me on my job, I'd be out of there. You had to be showing that I'm working, not standing around observing other people going into toys and stuff like that, you know. That's only for me. You know, I feel that's my tax money. I want to see them people working, just like I have to work and earn my income.
Sir, what rec center are you talking about?
Down here off of St. George Avenue,
And when was that?
Christmas time, because my wife had to go down and pick up something, donation that was given to her. And they were giving out Christmas prizes and toys and everything. I got off of St. George Avenue there.
Oh, you're talking about what ConocoPhillips and Infinium do every year.
Yeah.
Every year they have a clothing drive and toys for people that are on subsidies from the state, and that's something that is done every year. We have the normal employees there. I don't understand.
They were just standing around watching and observing. And
Well, there's about 100 people that come and take different clothing that's been donated, so we need police officers and staff.
okay.
Mr. Roth, once again, can the public expect additional savings in the government?
Mr. Warren, that we are expecting that, Council President. Again, once the Consolidation Committee reviews everything, we'll sit down with the Negotiations Committee and go over basically every division in every department to see what we can scour in terms of either demotions or reductions in staff.
Mr. President?
Yes.
Paul, is it Paul?
Yeah.
If I may. You heard during my report, there was a breakout committee this year from Personal and Finance. There is now a Budget Committee, which 3 individuals are going to look solely at the budget and reductions. I'm also a member of the Consolidation and Restructuring Committee. In the past few years, we've taken some aggressive steps in trying to reduce the size of municipal government. Where there was waste, where there was duplication of service, we're trying to fix that. We've come a long way. We have a lot farther to go. I could talk to you a little bit more about it after the meeting, if you'd like to get together with me, show you the work that we've done, the work that we plan to do. Okay,
Yeah, I
but
trust.
we took an aggressive initiative. When the budget came out late last year, and we saw what the hit was from the state, there wasn't much the city could do at that point. We initiated a 10% across the board reduction in salaries, across the board in all departments. They came back and they responded. That was an initial cut. The very tough thing is we don't know what's going to happen this year. We cannot promise that there will not be layoffs. We can't give guarantees to any department that there won't be layoffs. It's a very difficult thing. We have to see what the numbers are before we can work with them. But I can guarantee you this, both committees will look very, very carefully and explore every possible option to make sure that the hit is minimal, very, very minimal. And we will leave no stone unturned. So I'm online, I'm in the phone book. If you'd like to reach out to me at any time, please feel free.
Thank you. And the budget won't take as long as last year, I hope.
Oh, I can assure you that.
I promise you that it's not.
Pat Hero? Five minutes, please.
I'll do my very best. My name is Pat Hero. I live on Wheat Chief Road. First, I want to address what happened at the last council meeting. Councilman Pichelle, you proposed a resolution for John Hudak to be the city attorney. Who was your second on that?
Not sure. You can
Okay.
check the records.
Okay. This seems to be an end run around the ordinance that the mayor vetoed. I believe it's setting a dangerous precedent for a number of reasons. It was proposed spontaneously by Mr. Pichelle without the ability of the council to engage in thoughtful, considered deliberation of the matter or the public to add their input. And 2, it subverted the mayor his right to veto the appointment. Next, I want to thank the DPW for the great job they did during both snowstorms. Yes, they were both rather difficult snowstorms, particularly the first one. And I also like to thank the DPW people who shoveled Wood Avenue to make it easier for pedestrians to walk. I'd also like to encourage homeowners to to shovel their curbs into the street, because the fact is we are still not mountain goats, and some of the people have not uncovered their curb cuts, and it makes it very difficult for us to get walking in that direction. I want to welcome back to the council Councilman Koziel and Councilman Sheehy, and I want to welcome Mr. Moore in his new role as council president. Yeah, it's going to take a little bit of time to get the mechanics done, but you're doing a fine job, and your openness to the public is much appreciated.
Thank you.
I want to welcome Mr. Brown and Mrs. Cosby Hurling in their new role as council members. Tonight, I'd like to title this portion of my speech, Back to the Future. 50 years ago today, I turned 4.5 years old. And on January 20, 1961, had an experience so inspirational that it determined the course of my life. Yeah, sometimes politicians can do that to a human being. I thought that I would share with you the inspiration that I received from the inaugural speech of John Fitzgerald Kennedy transformed my life. And I want to share with you some of his words to inspire you, the mayor, council president, and the rest of the council, to inspire you in carrying out your duties as a public servant. In his City Upon a Hill speech, President-elect Kennedy quoted John Winthrop. "We must always consider," he said, "that what we shall be as a city upon a hill, the eyes of all people are upon us. Our governments must be as a city upon a hill, constructed and inhabited by people aware of their great trust and their great responsibilities. President Kennedy stated that, President-elect Kennedy stated when he gave the speech, he was a president-elect, that a government cannot be selected merely on the basis of color or creed or even party affiliation. But he gave a 4-question test by which both you and your constituents can measure your success or failure in your office. First, were we truly people of courage, with the courage to stand up to one's enemies and the courage to stand up, when necessary, to one's associates, the courage to resist public pressure as well as private greed? Secondly, were we truly people of judgment, with perceptive judgment of the future as well as the past, of our own mistakes as well as the mistakes of others, with enough wisdom to know that we did not know and enough candor to admit it? Third, were we truly people of integrity, people who never ran out on either the principles in which they believed or the people who believed in them, people who believed in us, people whom neither financial gain nor political ambition could ever divert from the fulfillment of our sacred trust? Finally, were we truly people of dedication, with an honor mortgaged to no single individual or group, and compromised by no private obligation or aim, but devoted solely to serving the public good and the city's interest? I changed it from national in the original, but I think you understand. I can think of no better conclusion to this speech than President Kennedy's conclusion to his inauguration speech. Finally, whether you are citizens of America or citizens of the world, ask of us the same high standards of strength and sacrifice which we ask of you. With a good conscience, our only sure reward, with history, the final judge of our deeds, let us go forth to lead the land we love, asking his blessing and his help, but knowing that here on earth, God's work must truly be our own. I will give Mr. Bodek a copy of this speech this week so it can be entered into the minutes, and I appreciate it being entered into the minutes. Thank you for your time.
And thank you for taking as much speed as possible in that. Did Mr. Bodek get a copy of it?
I'll give it to him. I have to type it on.
Stephen Gretchen? Greffin? Greffin? Stephen?
Good evening. A couple things I want to address. Earlier this evening, a lot of the snow plowing was talked about, okay? For the past, I don't know how many umpteen years, I've been so disappointed with the snow plow, okay? Not just the past, the recent snow that we've had, okay? Okay, granted, I give you that. Okay, it was 3 feet. It was a hell of a thing to handle. But in the past, we've done a very poor job, honestly. You know, today I made a phone call to the DPW. Actually, I made a phone call to the mayor's office, and they turned me over to the DPW, and I got on the phone and I'm asking a couple of questions, and the gentleman is pretty much just like trying to blow me off, okay? I said to him, I was like, okay, well, when are you guys gonna get to this area that I'm in right now? Okay, because I'm looking out, I'm telling him, I'm looking out into the streets right now, I'm looking out my window, and I'm seeing my streets was not plowed. Okay, now here it is, 3 o'clock, 3:30 this afternoon, okay? I was told by this gentleman that these guys have been out there all day, all night, ever since like 5 o'clock this morning. I've been up at 5 o'clock this morning, I was at work, okay? and he's insisting on telling me that my area was done. And I'm like, this guy can't be telling me this. He can't be telling me this, that my area was done. When I'm sitting here and I'm looking at it, I'm at the corner of Dillon and St. Mark's. Okay? When I left the house this evening, it still wasn't done. Okay? I've walked around this area here, like throughout Linden all my life. You know, I get around, trust me. And I'm looking and I'm like, okay, well, this section was done. This section was done. This section wasn't done. This section over here wasn't done. What were we doing today? Since 5 o'clock this morning. Certainly wasn't out doing plowing or salting. And another thing, he's trying to tell me that the roads were salted today over by my area. So I grabbed my cordless and I walked outside and I was like, doesn't look like any salt down over here to me. And guess what? I know what salt looks like. I'm also, I drive a truck for a living, but when my company has us on layoff, I have a friend of mine who owns a snow plowing landscaping business, so I work with him. And I do snow plowing. I know when I put down salt, it looks like I put down salt.
Mr. Mayor, is anybody from Public Works here?
Mr. Fakiti. Walter, could you talk into the microphone for the...
Public Works went out at midnight last night when the snow began, and they salted everything in town. We had 4 salters going all night. I got there at 6:30 in the morning myself, and we sent out a small force because we were also picking the recycling and garbage today, and we just have so many people. There were, this afternoon, at least 3 vehicles that I know of in the 4th Ward that should have been plowing. The man gives me his address. I will personally look into it. What was it? 8th Ward. 8th Ward.
Would you
They
do
were
that,
there.
Mr. Griffin,
I had
please?
3 trucks in there.
Well, none of them ran down my street.
What's your street?
Dill Avenue and St. Mark's Street, 1300.
Okay.
It's a little too late now because the rain.
No,
took
it's
care of
not,
that.
it's not too late. And you're saying that there was no salt put down. What happens is, we had snow at first. They salted the snow, the rain washed it away. You know, it's Mother Nature. We give it our best shot, but, you know, whatever she throws at us, we gotta deal with.
Okay.
By the end of the day, your street should have been plowed. If it wasn't, I will look into it, and I'll make sure that I will speak to you and find out why it wasn't done.
It was.
Okay, I need your phone number and your address.
Mr. Council President, I have a question for Mr.
Mr. Pichelle.
When the storms come around, seeing that we're paying supervisors to come in, do we have individual supervisors that go to each ward to make sure the streets are done?
We couldn't do that this time because we had the garbage being collected. We had problems with the sewer department, so we were taking supervision. We just didn't have enough supervision to go around, but the 5th Ward did have a supervisor in it. We pulled one of the supervisors, I believe it was from the landfill. I'm not 100% on that, though.
Yeah, because I had
In
the
the
same,
fifth.
I had the same problem he had during the blizzard, and after that is when I was told, you know, the street was plowed. And I even said, I'm standing right there. If the plow came down there, somebody threw the snow back, because it didn't
Well,
ever touch the street, and that was a
The
few
way
streets.
it was coming down in that,
Yeah, but
blizzard.
I think we should start getting the supervisors out there just to look over the area.
yeah, I need your phone
I'm
number.
giving you guys, you know, the recent snowstorm that we had 2 weeks ago, whatever. That's a hell of a thing to handle. I understand that.
Mr. Vakiti, will you take a look at that, please?
Just need your phone number.
And Mr. Sheehy, there seems to be a concern about our snow plowing And possibly, could you take a look at that in your committee?
We will address it. We did have, there was a few adjustments since the blizzard. We did get our bombardier crew back in shape, and that helped out a lot. I mean, we just need to, I appreciate you coming up here so we can address this issue. And I got all the faith in the world in Mr. Fakiti. He will look into it, and he will get back to you. Thanks for coming up here.
I have a couple other things I want to hit on really quick.
Would you please, your 5 minutes is up.
All right, I'll save it for next time.
Thank you, sir. Mike Stevenson. Five minutes, please.
Mike Stevenson, 1800 Greer Avenue. I'm back in front of Rhodes Gallery again. Nice to see we've got a new sheriff in town, and he's going to kick ass. I'm really upset with the way things have been going, and hopefully Jim Moore can correct that. I see some of the old school tried to bushwhack him at the last meeting, and that's very upsetting, you know, that you all can't discuss appointments and, let's say, firings at a meeting before you come out here in public. For somebody to jump out there and try to make a resolution without even discussing it with somebody else, without the rest of the council, it's outrageous. Well, we know that it was discussed, but it was discussed with a select few, not everybody. It was a bushwhacking and it was wrong. Which leads me to some of the other seemingly corrupt behavior that goes on in town. I'm disappointed in our city clerk. A city clerk has no business being holding a seat in a political organization. He's the man in town that counts the votes. How can we count on a reliable vote when we have city clerk holding a position with a political organization? I'm very disappointed in the way things have gone with John Hudak. You all know John Hudak has lied to you, deceived you, and tried to lead you down the wrong garden path. And some of you have followed. Thank God some of you have got the courage to stand up and say, no, that's not the way it is. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Chin Brooks.
I know, 5 minutes. Gretchen Brookeggie, 615 Inwood Road. First of all, I'd like to congratulate Chief Schulhafer, a well-deserved position, and best wishes to Chief Boyle on his retirement. I'd actually like to thank Public Works. I think they have been doing a great job. I know they're a bunch of hardworking guys. Today, I know my street was slushy and messy. However, that truck came rolling down and picked up my garbage, picked up my recycling without fail. I'd like to ask Mr. Armstead, in your report today, it just went so fast. I just heard Johnson and Tier 2. I just wanted to know what that was about. And I heard a first and a second, and it was done with.
Well, Damian Johnson was a employee who was terminated, and the Department of Personnel in Trenton decided that his termination was wrongful, so he had to be reinstated.
What was he terminated for?
I believe there was some sort of, well, am I at liberty to discuss that, Mr. Roth?
No.
Whatever is in the Office of Administrative Law decision would be considered public, but not, I wouldn't advise the council to discuss the aspects of the termination.
I just thought something was going on because I kept looking through the papers and I didn't see anything mentioning his name or so forth and so on. And, you know, the way everyone seems to be talking is we're going to be hitting more layoffs, you know, with public works and so forth and so on. And I just wanted to make sure that, you know, there aren't people doing things wrong that are going to jeopardize our good, hardworking guys from their positions and their jobs in our city.
Well, again, he was a previous employee, former employee, who was terminated, and the Department of Personnel in Trenton has deemed that the termination was wrongful, so we were ordered to rehire him, and of course, we had to rehire him with his seniority.
Okay. I just, the name also rang a bell because and I know Facebook isn't always a wonderful thing, but I saw some terrible remarks on one of the council person's Facebook page that said some awful things about different people, so it concerned me as well. Lastly, I would also like to say the remarks about Joe Bodak, I have to say, I've known him a very long time. He is one of the most honest, most decent people that I have ever known. He would do anything for anybody in this room, regardless of what terrible things you may have to say about him, because that is just the type of person he is. And congratulations to the whole council. Good luck this year. And I missed the tree report tonight. You could have said something about ice.
Thank you. The following council meetings will be as follows. Conference meeting Monday, February 7th, 2011 at 6 p.m. Council office, City Hall, Linden. Conference meeting Monday, February 14th, 2011 at 6 p.m. Council office, City Hall, Linden. Conference meeting to the council meeting Tuesday, February 15th, 2011 at 6 p.m. Council meeting Tuesday, February 15th, 2011 at 7 p.m. Council chambers, City Hall. I ask for adjournment. Motion.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Yes.
Second. Mr. Purcell.
Yes.
Frazier.
Yes.
Yamakaitis.
Yes.
Sheehy.
Yes.
Dowski.
Yes.
Crosby Hurling.
Yes.
Armstead.
Yes.
Brown.
Abstain.
Cozio. Golubus.
Yes.
Mr. Moore.
Yes.
Hey, how you doing, buddy? Hey, make it out, right?